were diagnosed with some form of cancer. 1 year later, I joined the statistic. My name is Michelle Marco, and I'm 50 years old, wife and mum to 2 wonderful teenagers. And September 23rd, my day started out like any other day. I went for my annual mammogram, and 2 hours later, after getting the results, I learned that I was carrying a malignant tumour in my left breast. It was at this very moment that my life turned upside down. My initial thoughts were perhaps the tests were wrong, as I didn't look or feel sick, and here were the doctors telling me that if I did not act on it immediately, my life was in real trouble. On hearing the devastating news, my head and heart told me that the only place I needed to be was under the supervision and guidance of the top team of doctors and specialists right here at St Vincents Hospital. The day I walked in to see my compassionate and very caring breast surgeon, Dr. Paul Crayer, the only question in my mind was, am I going to die? And his response was, not if you act on it now. From the diagnosis followed by lumpectomy, where I was told that thankfully the cancer had not spread to my lymph nodes, but was double in size and very aggressive, that it was then highly recommended I see an oncologist. This time, my efficient and knowledgeable oncologist, Dr. Eva Segalov, who advised me it would be a wise decision to start chemotherapy ASAP. Nothing in this world can prepare you for the fight of your life whilst undergoing chemo. When they tell you beforehand that everything good inside you will die in order to try and kill the cancer cells, believe them. There were some days where the thought of dealing with the simple things in life was too much to bear, and 4 grueling months of the most toxic, poisonous medicine entering your body intravenously was, to put it, horrific. When you walk into the Howick Clinic, where they do the chemo in the public hospital, it looks like the doctors and nurses are protecting themselves from a nuclear outbreak. They are covered head to toe in white plastic aprons, and everything is so sterile. I can tell you, I have never in my life been so scared of the unknown, and to learn that not only will my hair and fingernails fall out, but if my immune system will fall so low and I develop a high temperature, it would be lethal. I never questioned myself or God as to why me. The fact was that my family tree has such a strong history of cancer, so I guess it was only a matter of time of when I would be next. I survived the 4 months of chemotherapy in a zombie-like state with a lot of help from my family and friends who rallied together to bring meals to my home and to offer any help that I might have needed to carry on a normal life. It was during this time that I received a phone call from Professor Spiegelman, who heads the genetic testing program at this hospital. He asked me to come in to be tested for the genetic cancer gene, as both my mother and father are both cancer survivors. On receiving the results, it was not really a surprise to learn that I was carrying the gene, and this result has had a huge consequence for not only myself, but for my children as well. The main shock was that the gene had been passed down from my father, who had prostate cancer. Even though my mother had breast cancer, she was negative in carrying this cancer gene. For myself, knowledge is power, and I knew at that moment if I did not then undergo a double full mastectomy, the chances of cancer returning were as high as 80%. In a 9-hour marathon surgery, I had 3 top specialists from this hospital operating on me at the same time. My breast surgeon, Dr. Crayer, a plastic surgeon, Dr. Kaminer, and Dr. Lamara, who removed my ovaries, as well, since having the gene gives you a greater chance of developing ovarian cancer. In the tabloids 2 weeks ago, 60-year-old British celebrity Sharon Osbourne also discovered that she was carrying this breast gene. Speaking to the media, she told them she had decided to undergo a radical double mastectomy, and for her the decision was a no-brainer. As soon as she found out she had the breast gene, the odds, she said, were not in her favour, and having had already survived a different cancer, she no longer wanted to live under the dark cloud and wants to live the rest of her life without this heavy shadow hanging over her. All along, my doctors, nurses and staff that I came into contact with during my cancer treatment were positive, and I knew I was exactly where I was meant to be to make a full recovery. Many people I came into contact with were quick to offer alternative medicines and remedies, but as far as I was concerned, the only place and people that I trusted with my life was right here at St Vincent's. I also noticed how many people would come and greet me with, "You poor thing." Honestly, if they only realised that I was one of the lucky ones, that my cancer had been detected early and that I was given the chance to fight it. Never feel pity for someone that has gone through cancer and come out on the other side as a survivor, but feel for those that their diagnosis was too advanced of treatment, and unfortunately there are so many people who are in this situation right now. Looking back and reflecting on my life for the past 3 years since the discovery of my breast cancer, I have come to realise that my fate has been determined from the discovery of the genetic revolution going on here, right at this hospital. Led by Professor Spiegelman and his trained professional team of scientists, all working hard for that one specific goal, the prevention, detection and cure of cancer. For me, the genetic testing that I had revealed the cause of my tumour and allowed for other family members to be proactive in determining if they too were at risk, and if so, maybe to take action to reduce this. Since finding out my results, 5 family members have been proactive in finding out if they too are holders of the same cancer gene, and have all had surgery to reduce the risk significantly of cancer surfacing. So alone, that means that perhaps this gene test has saved so many members of my family. For myself, had I been more aware and undergone this genetic testing prior to being diagnosed, I might have been able to avoid going through the horrendous chemotherapy and suffering that I have endured. Knowing that I am a carrier of this deadly gene, my concerns look to the future, to my 2 beautiful children and their children, and my hope is that a vaccine might be developed to block the gene from surfacing and maybe spare my children from this deadly disease. The genetic testing is very expensive, and currently it is not being funded by Medicare, but some of the funds raised from the Tree of Life Christmas Appeal will allow for this testing to be more widely available. In addition, new genetic sequencing equipment will allow for a much more detailed genetic analysis of a person's tumour, so the treatment will be more precise, and even some might be spared from undergoing chemotherapy. This new equipment will also ensure that the right chemotherapy is given to each individual patient according to the tumour's genetic profile. The hospital is also actively recruiting new specialists who have a strong interest in cancer research, and some of the funds raised on the Tree of Life will also be allocated for this purpose. For those cancer patients having to go through chemotherapy and be admitted into hospital, a standalone oncology ward with better infection controls needs to be established. Cancer can affect your family, friends, or even yourselves. I never thought I would be known as a cancer survivor. I now look in my life in so many different ways, but don't worry about the small things, and only on the importance of enjoying life to the fullest. Life is so precious, and we only get one shot at it. And tonight I join St Vincent's in asking you all to dig deep into your pockets and give generously to the St Vincent's Hospital Tree of Life Christmas Appeal. Your generosity at this special time of year will make a huge difference to people just like myself. Ongoing funds are needed to continue the amazing results, and new developments needed. Unfortunately, we all know someone who has either passed or been affected with some form of cancer, and the only way a cure might be found is via the generosity of our people. I believe if man can walk on the moon, then anything is possible. Dreams are what gives us hope to carry on and to find the cure for cancer. It's only a matter of time, and I believe that with the dollars raised tonight, this dream of mine will be one step closer. So step up, dig deep, and make a difference this Christmas. Celebrate the life of someone you love by lighting up a light on the St Vincent's Tree of Life to celebrate life lived, life helped, and hopefully many lives saved. Thank you for allowing me to share my story, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.